how is this Casper rated? And this is a very common question, and it's a very complex question because the Casper, there isn't that much information out there, but there is very limited information that I'm going to be sharing with you. So what we do know is the Casper was developed by this company called Altus Assessments, based out of National University, that has created the Casper and actually other assessment tools. And each of the Casper scenarios is rated by a different rater that is chosen by Altus Assessments, and they're supposed to be like independent contractors. I'm not exactly sure what the background is, but each of the single scenarios, so each of those 12 scenarios, is rated by a different person, and they assign your score from 1 to 9. And then all those scores are averaged and released to the schools you're applying for. And then the big question was, well, how do they rate it? The unfortunate answer is that nobody really knows. It's quite a secret. It's more secretive than, I guess, nuclear codes in different countries, just because we don't actually have the rubric that they use. Obviously, because if someone has the rubric, then they'll be able to kind of quote unquote cheat the system. So we don't actually have the rubric that the people know, that the raters use. And the other thing that people always ask is, well, how can I find out what I got on the Casper? And this is also a very complicated question, because up until this year, you had no idea how you did. You didn't know how you rated. You didn't know how you compared to other people. You just had no idea. But last year, Casper started experimenting with sending different people their quartile scores. And what that means is they tell you which quartile you kind of are placed at. So there's a few quartiles, right? There's 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50th percentile to 75th percentile, and then 75th percentile to 100th percentile. And so they experimented with that last year. And just 2 days ago, I discovered that this year they're sending everybody their quartile scores. So about a month after you write your Casper, you'll know where you rated, in comparison to the peers that are writing the same type of Casper. So if you're writing Casper for dentistry, then you'll have your quartile score for how you compare with your other peers writing the Casper for dentistry. But again, why you got that quartile score and why you were rated that way is something you would not be able to find out. You also don't know your raw score. It's just something you want to know. And Casper actually in their FAQ, so one thing I want to show you guys here is, I don't know if you guys can see my screen here, but Casper, and I'm going to show you the website very shortly, they actually, in their FAQ, and this is where I found out about the quartiles, they list, they answer the question, why do I receive a quart? Actually, it's this one. So what does it mean to place a specific quartile, and why did I score in a specific quartile? And then here, what they interestingly say is that some of the reasons why you might have placed lower than you expected was because of effort. Like, let's say you just didn't try as hard. You finished 3 minutes and you're like, I'll just go to the next one. Another one is empathy, and another one is equity. So empathy is considering all the different perspectives, and then equity being just, respectful of the experiences and needs of others. So those are two things that I think are very important to remember whenever answering all Casper questions. And to sum it up, you just have to be a good person. You have to make sure that you consider everybody, and you have to make sure that you respect everybody. But we're going to talk about how to kind of formulate your answers based on these kind of things. And in terms of communication, this is probably the most important thing that Prep Match would help you. But again, very soon we're going to talk about Prep Match, and I'll provide some more details about that. So let me just load up my presentation here again. Sorry, guys. Let me just skip through some of the things here.
If you enjoyed this, click the thumbnail to watch the full video, or visit Student Doctor Network to see the free resources we have available to help you become a doctor.